Hey there, Chelsea here, MonarchAlley. I am a vintage lover, thrifter, and part-time reseller, and today I have a reselling tips video for you about how to run lean and efficiently and how to promote yourself and your items that you're selling. I've been thinking a lot about my personal process, and upon doing some evaluation, I just thought it would be good to share some tips because this is a business that we are running as we resell items online, and we want to reduce our cost as much as possible. And that could be labor time, it could be cost of goods. I have a lot of different ways that you can run lean to make more profits with reselling. Okay, since we're already talking about costs, what I would like to first start off with is to investigate all of your costs of doing business. And this is not only your cost of goods, which is something that you should consider, but it also includes other items. For example, how much does it cost you to ship out an item? That's something you should consider. Are you buying overly expensive poly mailers for the look and the branding, which is a pro, but something to consider? Are you using free USPS shipping supplies? Did you know that on Poshmark you can use free USPS shipping supplies for any purchase on Poshmark, and that can really save you some cost down the line. If you sell hard goods, you should definitely consider finding ways to get free packing supplies like bubble wrap and packing paper from friends and family. Of course, that also applies to boxes. You can get boxes from friends and family as well. You've probably heard to do this before, but this is your reminder to try to not take the easy route, which is paying too much for some of your shipping supplies, but instead growing a nice collection of boxes and shipping supplies from friends and family to reduce your bottom line and run more lean. Something that I had to do as well was consider my subscription costs for different software and tools that I use to run my reselling business. I took a look at some of the subscription services that I use for my reselling business. For example, a Poshmark sharing tool, cross-listing, and even my eBay store subscription level, and tried to slash any of them down that I could. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, you know that I use List Perfectly to cross-list, and I absolutely love it and continue to highly recommend it. I did not change my subscription level to that because I think I'm already on kind of the basic lower subscription, and that's really working for me, but the key is that I took a look at it. Now, with my eBay store, I did actually decide to reduce my eBay store to, I forget the levels. Maybe there was like kind of a second tier, and I moved back down to like the basic level. And that's because I felt like I wasn't listing enough to make it worth that store subscription. So now I went from paying $30 a month to $10 a month for my eBay store. And hey, that's in the long run. Think of all the inventory that $20 could buy. And speaking of inventory, this is something that again has been said many times by many other YouTubers and resellers. Consider your cost of goods and what are some ways that you can reduce your cost of goods to make more money and run more lean. This one is so difficult for me because I'm a part-time reseller. I don't have a lot of time to run off to the bins because all the different bins around my area are about an hour drive. So I really have to dedicate a day to it, which I don't really have time for that, but occasionally I have, and it's definitely paid off to be able to shop at the Goodwill Bins outlet and get a reduced cost of goods. If you are unfamiliar with what the Goodwill Bins even is, it's a place where they just kind of take all the extra donated inventory, sometimes things that didn't sell at a Goodwill store, and put it all in literally a bin. That's why they call it the bins. And you can kind of dig through, and then you pay like one price for the weight of what you pick up. So for example, you might go to the bins and it's about $3 a pound or $2 a pound, depending on your location. Shopping at the Goodwill outlet is an excellent way to reduce your costs. It doesn't really work for me as a consistent everyday thing because the bins are not close enough to me. And that may be the case for you. So another way to consider reducing your cost of goods is also to shop at yard sales and garage sales. A lot of times people that are hosting garage sales are just trying to offload their unused items or their unwanted items. And so they'll sell t-shirts and pants and items for 50 cents a dollar, usually better than thrift store pricing, which also is continuing to rise. So in looking at reducing your cost of goods to make more profit and run lean, you can shop Goodwill Bins, you can go to yard sales, you can also make sure that when you are shopping at the thrift store that you are maybe only buying discounted items, like additionally discounted items. For example, color of the week items, perhaps you limit yourself to only shop the items that are 50% off that week. That can really take you down to close to bins pricing, and you can still stay in your local area without the cost and time cost of travel. Of course, the ultimate way to reduce your cost of goods is to pull from your own personal items around your house, or ask friends and family if there's anything they were considering taking to Goodwill and to have them give it to you instead. The struggle I have with doing that is that sometimes I'm not as excited to list those items and they become death pile items, but that can also be backup inventory for if you're at a time where you just don't have the money to spend on inventory. You can totally use this free inventory from around your house and from friends and family. I have to give a shout out here to Katie Reeds, who has talked about how she has an ad on Craigslist where she will pick up books from people because she focuses on book reselling primarily. And I think it's such a genius idea to have an ad out there. If you are comfortable meeting up with people, you can put an ad out there too, just stating that you will help people clean out their closets or remove items from their home at no cost to them. And it really saves them a trip from Goodwill. You know how it is when you want to donate items and they're in your trunk for like 3 months. Well, this can really do people a service and they could be really grateful, and you can pick up some free inventory, which could be really great. Of course, if you do something like that, please consider all safety precautions. You know, when you're meeting up with strangers on the internet, things can get weird. So just make sure to be as safe as possible. And what I also have heard Katie talk about is that she does vet some of these people. So when they send her an email, I suppose, saying that they're interested in using her services for book pickup, she will ask for some information on what kinds of books, the condition of the books, etc. And that helps her figure out if it's worth her time or not. So we've talked about different ways to reduce your costs of goods and your costs of running your business to help you to run lean and make more profits in reselling. But what else can you do to be more efficient? Again, this is a tip that maybe isn't super novel or new, but consider listing your death pile. And I say that because not only is this money that is tied up, perhaps you spent $30 on inventory that you have yet to list, and this was 6 months ago. You could use that money on something else, perhaps the next time you go to the bins or yard sale. But unfortunately, that's tied up in unlisted inventory. So to run more lean and efficiently, get rid of those death pile items, do the best you can to get those listed before you make more trips to your different sourcing locations, because this can help you to work more efficiently. You don't have the stress. No one really talks about kind of the mental component of reselling and how sometimes that those items are sitting there needing to be listing, and that can cause some people anxiety. So I would say just dive into that death pile and get items listed. But what happens if your death pile is primarily items that you now consider bad buys? A bad buy is when you purchase something to resell and maybe it had a stain or the value wasn't as high as you expected it to be. So now you have either lost interest completely in listing it, or you just have set it aside as you choose to list other items. This is where I think Whatnot can come in. Whatnot is an app where you can sell your items through live stream services. It's really neat. People can bid in the moment right there. And I recently did my first one, and for me, it was a really great way to get rid of some stale inventory. This will not only help you free up space in your inventory, but it will also help you kind of recoup some of the money that you paid for those items. And then you'll be able to buy new items, perhaps at a lower cost of goods. So you kind of reclaim that money that's tied up in either death pile items or bad buys. And now you can use it to more efficiently run your business, either through better items or by purchasing things that will help you to work more efficiently. If you are interested in selling or buying on Whatnot, I do have a referral link in the description below. Like I said, I had an absolute blast doing my first Whatnot sale. It was so much fun. So please, whether you have the app or plan to get the app, make sure you follow me, because I have a lot of fun on these streams. I play music, I sell items for a low cost of goods. Several items that I sold for $1 or $2 could easily be inventory that you could then flip. Again, I have a referral link in the description below, and that does give you some shopping credit on there as well. So I guess that's a good way to reduce your cost of goods. Use a shopping credit and get an item for free to flip. So when you're thinking of running more lean and efficiently, you also need to think of the thing that I think often gets kind of put on back of mind, not really thought about, which is the cost of your actual time to get these items done, and how long does it take you to do things. If you have inefficiencies in your process and it takes you too long to list an item, or perhaps too long to find an item once you go to ship it out, that can basically reduce the profit you make, because the time that you're taking running inefficiently is reducing the amount of time you have to either source or list new inventory. So I highly recommend you take a couple minutes today to evaluate your process. Think about what it looks like a day that you go sourcing and how long are you at the store. When you go out sourcing, do you have a plan or strategy? Some people might consider when they go out sourcing to think, I'm only going to pick up items that make $30 or more in profit. Or they may say, I want to pick out 10 $1 items that will sell quickly. Whatever your strategy is, I highly recommend creating a strategy for sourcing and all the other elements of your process. You also totally need to consider the time it will take to ship it. I have sold some totally wacky items that are breakable or oversized or large, and it took me like an hour to ship out some of these items. And I just think to myself, wow, I could have been doing so many more things. And was that like $20 profit worth the time it took me to bubble wrap all those glass plates, for example? What I'm emphasizing is that you should really have a process so that way you can run more lean, more efficiently, and make more profits. I have to make a mention in here too that as much as this will contradict the next section of what I'm about to talk about, which is promoting yourself, you should really consider how much time are you spending on social media and YouTube. Okay, I'm not telling you not to watch YouTube, but I'm just saying that you should definitely consider time tracking how often you're scrolling Instagram when you could be creating a draft that you can list later or actually listing an item. I know for a lot of people, time blocking can be really successful. And what that is you create a block of time, like 20 minutes to an hour, whatever is gonna work for your schedule, where you really focus in, zero in on what your task is. So definitely consider where are your moments where maybe you're wasting a little time, and instead of scrolling through Instagram for the 20th time that day, you could be going ahead and creating a draft that you will list later, or just going ahead and listing an item. Okay, and as I was just talking about not wasting time on the internet, I'm now going to tell you to consider putting a little time into self-promotion on the internet. But I think there's an important distinction here, because although, yes, the internet can be a time suck and a waste of time, it's also a huge wealth of information. I mean, that's probably why you're here watching this video right now. It's a great opportunity to learn from others about items that they are picking up and sourcing, or how they run their business. So just like I mentioned before, consider the time blocking. Now, when it comes to promoting yourself, there are so many tools for free that you can promote yourself and end up making more sales in doing so. Probably one of the best and easiest starting points would be creating an Instagram account for your reselling business. I think it's really important to divide your personal Instagram or social media accounts from your reselling business, because once again, it really helps you focus in on what is the content that I'm sharing and what is it that I'm trying to do on this platform. I absolutely have found huge success in posting new items to my Instagram, directing people in Instagram stories to the link to where they can go and purchase it. I've definitely felt like I've made more sales and quicker sales when I go ahead and share items, because the truth is, a lot of people will impulse shop, or they might see something they didn't realize they even needed, but the second you share that Power Rangers vintage thermos or something, they're gonna be like, whoa, that's the perfect Christmas gift for so-and-so, I gotta go get it. So Instagram and social media is a really great way to highlight your inventory, because you've already taken the time to take pictures of it and list it. Why not go ahead and use that picture, you recycle the content right onto Instagram, and that way you can highlight it to your friends and followers. I think you'll find that if you engage with other resellers, you will quickly create a following. To me, the key is just having like real conversations with people, giving them some support, and I think you'll quickly find that you get the support back. Instagram does not have to be a time suck. Once again, you can time block what you want to post on Instagram. You can even draft up postings in Instagram. So you might spend 30 minutes taking photos for listings, and then 5 minutes in just creating drafts of 5 of those items. That's almost a week's worth of content right there, and it took you almost no time to pull those pictures into a draft. I personally love using Instagram stories to promote what I'm currently listing or my process as well. I think people really love to engage. I create videos, I share pictures while I'm sourcing and after, and I think that's been just a really excellent way to get the word out about the type of items that I love to pick out. I have definitely found that I've gotten a little bit of a following because people start to kind of understand what my vibe is. And so when they go to my closet or my store, they know that they're going to get some vintage stuff, you know? And so Instagram has been a great tool in helping people to discover what I'm all about. And it also just kind of pokes them and reminds them to check out my various shops and consider supporting me too, because there is definitely like a personal human aspect that is key when it's promoting yourself. People want to support people that they like. And so when you share a little bit about yourself, that can really come back tenfold because you create those relationships and get that community support from the reselling community. Another way to support yourself, of course, is also to create a YouTube channel and create videos like what I'm doing right now. I will say that this takes a lot of time and effort and a lot of dedication, and it does not grow as fast as I hoped it would. But it's still a great tool to once again create that community, to highlight some new items that you pick up when you do thrift hauls, etc., and just to share some general tips and your vibe. So I would say if you feel like you don't even know where to start when it comes to promoting yourself, here will be 3 quick tips. So believe it or not, promotion actually starts with just creating a good listing. 1, start with your listing. Make sure your photos are bright and really show the item well, and make sure your description has an excellent description of what the item is and some keywords on the style of it, some things that you think people might search for and be interested in the item that you've listed. My second tip would be to create that online social media presence through Instagram, Facebook Business, or one of the other apps that you like, maybe TikTok. Where you start kind of depends on your comfort in social media and showing your face, although you don't have to show face on any of them. You can just highlight your process. You can make fun videos about how you get things done or thrift hauls, and you don't even have to be on there. But I will say, showing your face gets you more engagement and it helps people relate to you a little bit more. And my third tip would be to use free online services like Canva to create cool designs once you do have that Instagram. It's a really good way to draw attention to upcoming sales or promotions that you're having, or once again, just to highlight new items on social media. How does promoting yourself help you to run lean and make more profits? Well, it mostly helps you with the profits part because once again, you are going to get the word out about items that you are listing and get a following of people who really jive with you and want to support you. And of course, the great part in the run lean part is that it's free to create a social media account and to get the word out. It only has a little bit of time cost, but if you carefully time block and plan and create a strategy for what you want to do, it won't take up that much time at all, and I think you'll find it to be really successful. Phew, okay, so those are my tips to run lean and make more profits with reselling. Let me know, what did I forget? Drop a comment below. If there's anything that you want me to elaborate on more, either in a video or just in the comments, feel free to say something below and I would be happy to respond to that and consider making another video like this if it's something that you're interested in. I just want to thank you so much for your time and for viewing this video, and I hope you found it informative. If you did, please give me a like and consider subscribing because I plan to make more videos like this in addition to my typical thrift hauls and what sold videos. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.